Capricorn, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. Take what works, leave what doesn't. If I don't catch your wavelength on this one or your storyline, go check your other major placements, or even if I do, you're welcome to check other major placements if that's what floats your boat. And let's see, I've been posting the spread, pictures of the spread at the end of the video. So if you want to check my work or take a closer look at a picture or at a card, go for it. And we're going to start with the Oracle decks of Moonology and Work Your Light. For an intuitive vibe here, and then we're going to move on to a new deck, Crow Tarot, for a more traditional tarot spread. Okay. We have Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. So this, to me, this is here you sit right in between this chain of teachers, right? So you're both learning and teaching at this point. So you need to, if you're teaching, make sure you're doing, some sort of continuing education, whether formal or informal, where you're continuing to learn and continuing to grow and continuing to expand your repertoire of what you know and your knowledge base, right? Or, your wisdom base there. So you're continuing to do that while also teaching others, right? So you have more to learn, and but yet you've also learned enough that you can begin teaching. So Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. So, and I also love devotion. You're devoted on this path. There's something that you are devoted to. You're devoted to learning more of, and part of learning more and really knowing something is having the opportunity to teach about it, because you can learn a lot more even as you teach. And it solidifies what you've already figured out too. So we have the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. So we're headed someplace, right? We've already launched something. We're already in flight here. We're already headed to some distant land, and we're on our way now. Like, we've packed the car. We're on the road. We're on the on-ramp to the freeway right now. So we're actually headed someplace. We're actually going someplace. You probably have an idea. I mean, both of these indicate some sort of partially there. This is saying you're a little earlier on in the process. I was thinking halfway, but you're a little earlier on, but you've already got some distance underneath you. You've already done a lot of preliminary work. You've already laid the groundwork for something, and now we're heading off in that direction, and the energy's gaining momentum. But even as that energy gains momentum, we have to take a break. Life's a work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. So make sure you're having fun. Make sure you're relaxing and resting and taking breaks from time to time, right? We're not going to drive all the way from California to New York City without stopping at a rest stop, or without, emptying our bladder, without getting a hotel, or at least setting up a tent, or at least, at the very least, sleeping in our car at a rest stop, right? So this is like, take some breaks though. Just because you're on your way, just because you see your destination, just because you're partway there, doesn't mean you just keep going and plowing through, Capricorn. I may have some experience with some Capricorns that just like to plow on through. Don't take a break. Don't rest your body. Make sure you work it to the breaking point. So this is exciting. Yeah, you're moving on. Yeah, you've got something to share. You've got more to learn. You're on your way somewhere. But take some breaks. Don't overheat the vehicle or yourself. Don't drive off the road because you fell asleep at the wheel. Take breaks. Make sure you're enjoying this process. Make sure you're enjoying this journey. And we don't do that by overworking and getting tired and bleary-eyed and cross-eyed so that we can't even enjoy the scenery. We're driving through the Badlands of South Dakota. We're driving through, southern Utah, all those beautiful canyons and arches. But we're too tired to enjoy any of it, right? We're just like, I don't know, I've been driving for 3 days now. So we're not doing that. We're going someplace cool, and we want to enjoy the journey there And we want to make sure we're well rested and we can see clearly, and we're able to enjoy the journey and do some stops. I have this whole road trip going on in my mind here. Part of a good road trip is the unknown, the little nooks and crannies, the little things you weren't expecting, and the unscheduled stops and the unscheduled roadside attractions. So that's what I'm seeing here, is a bit of a journey, a road trip, and making sure that we're not just going from point A to point B, but that we're taking some beautiful little pit stops and refreshing ourselves and refreshing our spirits along the way. All right, Capricorn, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. And this deck is so serious. Oh my gosh, it's pretty intense. I feel a little serious today too. We're in simpatico energy here. Page of Swords in your recent past, a person, or just a new situation. There's learning here. There's a newness. They're learning how to handle the truth, how to handle communication. So this could have been a person. This could have been you just trying to figure out how to communicate something, how to communicate a new idea. This is also learning. This is reminding me of being a student here. At some point you have been a student. Learning something, trying to get a grasp or a handle on some sort of intellectual idea, or even some sort of communication, or some kind of clarity coming in here, and not quite knowing exactly what to do with it or how to deal with it. It's a little bit awkward. There's like some new information, and it's a little bit like, well, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, I don't know how to handle this information. I don't know how to handle this communication. And I feel like you were on the receiving end of it and you didn't know how to handle it or what to do with it, but you tried. You tried, and you're willing to learn. You're willing to learn, but you didn't quite know what to do with it. Wasn't quite what you were expecting. It was a little unusual. There's like a headwind here too going on. Like, kind of difficult to deal with. This new information. Your current situation, you have the Magician here though, the Sword. This new information or new communication comes in handy here. It's part of something you need to make something happen now. Like, so maybe in the past you didn't really know what to do with it. You didn't know how to respond. You were just a little surprised. You didn't know, you learned something new and you were like, how do I integrate this? Well, the Magician, where you're at right now, you've integrated it. You've got it. It's part of your complete set of tools here. This was a new tool, a new thing that was handed to you, a new understanding that was handed to you, and now you know what to do with it. Now you've got the energy. You've got the parts are all assembled. They're not assembled, but they're all together ready for you to assemble, right? It's like you got the furniture. It was in a package, and you've laid it all out. And maybe someone gave you an Allen wrench at some point and you're like, hark, what is this? I do not know. Now though, now we've got, 8 pieces of piece A, 4 pieces of piece B, and we've got like 13 C screws and 14 D pegs. And now we can see what to do with this Allen wrench, with this tool, with this new situation, with this new information that we had. Now we see, and we've got it all kind of laid out, and it's just ready for us to bring the spark. It's ready for you. You have the power. You're bringing in some sort of power, some sort of magic. And the Magician to me always talks to me about. We also do have lightning coming. It seems to be coming out of his mouth here. Lightning either coming out of his mouth or coming into his mouth. So the Magician, with that word, the magic word, abracadabra, or please, or thank you. So those magic words, they open something up, right? So there's something about, you received communication. It might have been a little awkward, but now you're ready to integrate it and to create something with this communication and to communicate yourself. This actually really is reminding me of the sister learning and then regurgitating or using. You've taken in some sort of knowledge, some sort of understanding about something that you're very devoted to. It may have been awkward and strange, but you took it in. You took in this new information. Now you're ready to express. Now you're ready to express that information, regurgitate it, something like that. You're ready to express something, but there's something magical. You have the ability right now to bring a bunch of various elements together and make it really work and create something in reality that you've had your eye on and that you've wanted. And really the key to it was this page of swords, this either person with an awkward communication, maybe the person didn't know what to do or how to communicate something, or it could have been new information and it was a little bit strange to kind of, how do I hold this? How do I deal with this information? But now that it's here, now that you've got it with you, now that you've got it grounded, it makes sense and it brings a bunch of elements together and you're ready to make magic happen. You're ready to bring something to fruition here that you've wanted for a long time. And sort of that key was that awkward communication. And then in this, in your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, the Tower card, you're worried that you're going to create some sort of cataclysmic issue with your life. Like, what if I bring something into fruition and it has all these unintended consequences? Something I rely on, something that's a structure and a fixture in my life. What if I make something and this is the unintended consequence, that everything falls apart, or that this thing falls apart, or I lose something, I lose some sort of home, some sort of comfort zone? What if my comfort zone gets completely destroyed by bringing this new thing in and making this happen? What if something terrible happens? What if I have a family picnic and everybody kills each other? What if I, okay, now I can do this thing finally and I have everything I need to do this thing, but there could be some catastrophic thinking, or it's called catastrophizing, where you imagine the outcome and the only thing you can really imagine is like the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario could be playing over and over and over in your head. Or if this is a hope that you have, maybe you're hoping that everything changes with this, that you do something, you say something, you bring something in, and it can maybe change something. Because maybe you don't like this tower. Maybe you're sick of this tower. Maybe this tower is falling apart and is a little bit dangerous and you want the tower gone. You could be seeing this tower from a couple different perspectives. There are a couple different ways we can view these sort of structures in our lives, the way things have always been. This one's a clock tower. So there's something about like time, it being time for something is it this thing's time, right? With the tower, we almost talk about an inevitability. So you could be catastrophizing, or you could be hoping that everything changes, like the opposite of catastrophizing. Like, I don't know that should really have its own word. The opposite of catastrophizing, right? Because that's, a raging successizing is what we're talking about, right? And that everything changes, and you say something, and you bring in this magic situation, and everything changes. So massive changes on your mind. You're definitely thinking that whatever you're doing with this magician card, with bringing something in, bringing something to fruition, that it's you're definitely playing in your mind that it could change everything. This could be a big game changer. What's in reverse here? What's the issue is the Hierophant in reverse. Non-traditional, some sort of non-traditional situation, or rejection of tradition. And a little bit this tower too here is like, this is a structure that's been part of your life and you're kind of hoping for it to be gone, or you kind of are afraid that it's the upset. I feel like you're looking at the upset. You're realizing that what you're bringing into fruition, what you want, could change everything. And you may not be sure which way it's going to go, or if you're even going to like it once it changes everything. Something's compelling you to change the situation and the dynamic, to bring something into fruition. It's not entirely clear, and I think this is worrisome to you. You know, big change, you're looking ahead and you know big change is coming. Is it going to be positive? Is it going to be negative? Some of you could be just toggling between those two. but you're thinking about big change. This Hierophant, this can be big change, big structural change, huge structural change, a dethroning of a ruler here too, confusion, right? The Hierophant upright is about these sort of methodical institutions in our lives, and this Tower and the Hierophant reverse, this is an institution not being very institutional, not being very organized. There's not like, first you have to do this, then you have to do that, then you have to do, there could be something that's very disorganized or very untraditional, and you may feel like a lost footing here, like you don't know how to deal with something so outside your norms, so untraditional, so disorganized, or so incomprehensible to you. Like the Hierophant and the upright would be like, there's a rule book, here are the law books, here's the history of the law books, here's prior case rulings going back 100 years, and we rely on these to show us where to go. This is like all the prior case rulings have been thrown out, and you don't know who's making the rules, what even are they, what's going on. It's a little bit, there's just kind of this confusion, and there's something very non-traditional here and outside the norm. Someone is coloring way outside the lines, and it could be disconcerting. It could be disconcerting. This could also be someone with a lot of faith, but without an institution around it, right? So we talk about that faith at the kernel of these large institutions like churches or justice systems. There's like some kernel of something. So this could be the kernel without any institution around it, without any structure around it, nothing. And it could be, I don't know, it could be disconcerting. It could feel destructive. Your what's in your environment? 9 of Wands. Someone's tired of fighting, but this battle is old. This battle is old and wants to be retired, but cannot be. So there's an ongoing issue that everybody's kind of sick of right now. But there's not a lot of resolution right now. But the issue just goes on and on and on. Your to-do list is Judgment. Your to-do list is to look at the past and reevaluate it. It's not often we get this card, Everybody wants us to move forward. Don't look in the rearview mirror. You're not going back that way. But honestly, you should probably look sometimes at what you've done, how you've behaved. Would you do it again that way? Looking at something from your past, bringing something from the past up again. It might have been this awkward communication here that we're looking at. You want to make something happen. You have all the elements to make something happen here, and you are making something happen. But Judgment is about looking at where we've been, looking at where we've come from. This resurrect the past. Maybe there was an argument or something in your past, and this is like maybe revisit it because it was awkward and maybe people didn't know what to do with it at the beginning. So this is like bring it up again. This is part of, I see talking as part of this. This is talking, like this Page of Swords starts the whole thing off with some sort of awkward information or communication. This Magician, you're using that information to create something, to create maybe possibly a conversation that changes things. This Judgment, we have someone talking here. We have some very full-throated conversation. I mean, we've got also this like Red Cross, this healing energy. There's a masculine energy here. It's the second to the last card in the deck. So it's like this like final kind of reckoning or something, some sort of, how did this trip go for you? How has this journey been? Has it been confusing? Has it been terrifying? You want to make something happen, but you kind of have to revisit the past. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we have to revisit the past. What you going to do? Like, how did you do it before? And did you like it? There's insight there. There's some sort of insight into the past. But again, it has you talking. It has you creating with your mouth. There's some kind of healing in revisiting the past. This isn't a purposeless wallowing in the past. This is a revisiting something to see with new eyes. You've changed, you've grown, you're different. So look back and see it in a new way. See it in the way that you are today. It can change the meaning of something. Like Alan Watts talks about this a lot, about how, in a song, we hear the beginning of the song, and then we hear this chorus, and as the song goes on, it changes how we understood the line before, or even the notes before, right? As it goes along. So this is something where you can look to the song's almost finished here. So what's the song mean now that you're at the end of the song? What's this musical score mean now that you're at the end of it? How has it changed over time? And how does your perspective now change how you understood back then, what you understood about what went on in the past? So to say don't look at the past would be like, just listen to this bar on the song and just enjoy that, right? There's a certain sense where we are needing to be in the moment, but there's another sense where we can take a step back from time to time and look at the bigger picture and look at how the song started and what some of those lines or some of those notes mean now that it's unraveled, now that the Mandelbrot set has unfolded and unraveled. We can take a look back at its origin story and the origins here. So there's something about the past and going back then. There's something very important for you there. Important insights for you there. And then in your possible outcome, Ace of Cups. So I like this. This is like the second to the last. This is part of wrapping something up. This is like the debrief or the post-mortem meeting after you've had a big event with an organization. You might have a post-mortem meeting where we talk about what happened, what went on. We take notes so that we can reference them next year when we come back to the same event. And so we talk about and sort of debrief from something, debriefing something. It's the second to the last step, and then before completion. You need to debrief something. You need to review your past. And then this new emotional beginning can come in, the new relationship, maybe a renewed relationship, maybe just closing out the past allows you to come into a new relationship with someone else with more, with that freshness of having closed that chapter out, having learned your lessons, having gotten all the insight you can from this situation for now, and then begin anew. So it could be the same situation, and you're beginning it anew because we've reviewed the past, we've learned from it, we've left it there. This could be a demonstration to someone you're in relationship with that I have learned my lesson. I understand what I did wrong. This could be an apology that you're bringing in. I see where I went wrong. I see that's such an important part of relating, is like seeing how you didn't behave in a way that you wanted to, or in a way that you now see wasn't helpful and wasn't healthy. And then you apologize because it allows the other person to know, okay, this person at least is doing their work and on their path. And they've changed, and they see where they needed to change. So then we have this Ace of Cups, this new energy coming in where we can begin again. We can start again on something. We can start either a new relationship, having fully closed off that one as well as we can. So this judgment, this could also be an apology coming in here. And then this Ace of Cups, a new relationships, new way of new emotional health and well-being. A new way of relating to perhaps someone that you've owed an apology to, or have needed to review the past at the very least. So that sounds beautiful. I love this Ace of Cups coming after. You get a new beginning, but first you have to revisit the past and gain your insights from that. So I hope that this was helpful for you, Capricorn. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.